Is there a website?
Here we go, guys.
Stephanie
Yes.
Colco's calling at 11:15.
Firmly 101.3 Renegade Radio.
Okay. Eddie, comes to you in 10 seconds. Here we go. In 5.
Yes, you better slow your Mustang down.
All right, listeners, you certainly know what that theme song means. That's right, it's another episode of Mustang Matters, heard right here on our local Renegade Radio, as well as Native Voice One radio stations nationwide, and our flagship station, 99.1 FM Talk, a Fox News radio affiliate here in Northern Nevada. Before I introduce our very special guest and host of the show today, please join us if you want to. We're in the Reno Town Mall, where you can come, get behind a microphone if you care about our American heritage, the wild horse and burros nationwide. You can also text us today. That text number is 775-384-4444. Or if you have any questions, comments of the host, as well as our special guest, you can call us toll-free nationwide, 855-790-TALK. Write it down, 855-790-8255. Before we get to the creator and host of Mustang Matters, Lacey J. Dalton, we always start Mustang Matters off with some American Indian music and a Lakota prayer for the show and our American heritage, the wild horses and burros.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Today I would like to remember my uncle Paul Thunderhorse. He's a descendant of the Wounded Knee 1890 massacre. He passed away on the 19th, and my cousins, they asked me to remember him today during the prayer. He's also a World War veteran of World War II, so I'd like to say that this morning. Atewa kantanka tkashla wopla ushmala omakiayo. Chi dagnish ni meswashni chi oyate ki otehi kina chanteo shi checha omakiayo chi chante washte na shukawakan ki yuha na tatanka ki dawish te hecha wopla te wakantanka ho dakyase.
Thank you for that, Joanne Spotted Bear. I tell you what, I'm going to go to the creator of Mustang Matters and the host of Mustang Matters right now, none other than country western singer star Lacey J. Dalton. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Eddie. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody this morning?
You know what? I tell you what, Lacey, I am so excited. We have two very, very special guest listeners, one in studio with us right now. We'll get to her in a moment, and also one that you need to know, Lacey, and she's on the telephone with us right now. I'm talking about none other than a lady who has 88,899 followers on Facebook, all because she's one of the bigger horse advocates here in the nation and goes by the handle Mustang Meg. Mustang Meg, welcome to Mustang Matters.
Well, hello. I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
You know, Mustang, if you don't mind, I'd like you to do this for us. Personalized Mustang Matters for us to begin with. Where were you born, educated, and what led you to be doing what you're doing right now for our American heritage, the wild horse and burros?
Well, I was born actually in the Czech Republic, and then through various changes in my life, ended up here in Oregon, and we have a wild horse herd that I just have fallen in love with, and I have tracked since 1994, and by chance we just happened to come across them, and at that time I had no idea there were still wild horses, and we were driving along through the scene and saw this herd, so I did all the research I could, and then beginning 2004 I learned about the Burns Amendment and how it basically shot the Wild Horse and Burro Act full of holes and has put them in harm's way. And since then, I've been working on that, researching everything I can, and when I began social media in 2008 is when I became an advocate, and it just kind of grew from there.
Well, I'll tell you what, grow it did indeed. Like I said, 88,899, and I know by the end of this show, we'll cap that 90,000 mark right now. But, you know, thank you for that. Yeah, that'll be really good, because you know what? A lot of people don't realize, Lacey, it's amazing how many people nationwide, the percentages are outstanding as far as people behind our wild horses and burros.
You know, I'm always impressed with the latest figures, which are 80% of us want to protect and preserve our wild horses, and really all our horses. We do not want horse slaughter, and contrary to what Raisinheart, I call him, who was Conrad Burns, that's his Indian name. His Indian name, Conrad Burns' Indian name is Raisinheart. He paid for those bad legislation. He's no longer holds the purse strings of the United States.
Right.
He after he did his little stealth rider and took away most of the rights of the wild horses in the United States, he lost his seat, and I'm so grateful that he did, because that is a very short-sighted way when 80% of us want something in this country, and we are not being heard in Washington. It is, I think it's criminal, and I want to know, Meg, what you're doing right now. How can we help you? We had someone on the show the other day who said that, and I didn't know this, that President Obama had made a campaign promise that he would have an executive order that would stop slaughter.
You know, before Meg even answers that, I want to jump in and let you know that, you know, being now a lobbyist for yourself and several other advocacy groups, I actually pulled that clip, and that's true. He did make that promise that he's totally against that. So I've got that as some more, if you will, ammunition to take to Washington, D.C. Meg, what are you doing right now? But before you do respond, let me say that you're on air with not only Lacey J. Dalton, country western singer star, but also Joanne Spotted Bear, who you heard give us our Lakota prayer. And but we're also joined today, co-host Cindy Hartzell from the Wainema Ranch, which is a wild horse sanctuary north of Reno, but a very special guest, a really wonderful advocate for the wild horses and burros in our area. Terry Farley is on set with us as well, and she's an author of an excellent book. We'll get into that later, but I want you to know the players before we go around robin and start asking you question after question, Meg.
Sounds good.
Well,
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Good morning.
Meg, there are a lot of folks in the studio today. We've got Bruce Hartzell's here, that's Cindy's husband. He's a veterinarian. We have Debbie McCarthy with us, and of course, I hope to introduce you through the radio to Terry Farley. She is a fabulous horse advocate. It sounds like the two of you could use to connect.
I think we're Facebook friends.
Are you Facebook? You're already there. They're already there. You guys with the computers.
We're connected, yes.
You're connected. Well, okay, Meg. I know we got away from the question that I asked you, but what is the most important thing that we can all, 80% of us out here who want to stop the stuff that's going on with the wild horses, what can we do to help you?
Well, it's still surprising just how many people out there don't know that we even have wild horses and this problem. And I have found that, and it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but I have found that social media is an unexpected grassroots effort. I think it's been underestimated, and people are reeling in Washington. So my first thing is you share with your own network, and I call them the posse, with your own posse network, and that is really important. And I have numbers and contact information about if you want to email, fax, do what you need to do to contact those people in Washington, and basically let them know that this is our will and that we basically hired them to do this job. And that's probably the two best things. And what I'll do, I've advertised Renegade Radio on my page, and so what I'll do is I'll also add contact information, who people can contact if they want to have their voice shared for our wild horses and burros.
Thank you, Meg. And Cindy has a question for you.
Well, actually, Meg, I just wanted to add, in case you haven't discovered, we have a Mustang Matters page on Facebook too, and please,
You do?
yeah, please get on there. We would love to have your input on there, the number contacts, anything you want to say. Mustang Matters Facebook page is all about our Mustangs, so I just wanted to
Fantastic.
let you know that.
Okay, I'll be right on there.
Hey, gang, what do you think about we all gang up, all of us, and we start a petition to President Obama personally, saying you made a promise, and there are 80% of us out here who will, be nice. It would probably be a good PR thing for him right now, since his approval rate is like zilch point, you know what. So, I mean, I was very surprised because Lance Gilman, who's a local politician,
Right.
ran on the strength of saving our wild horses. He won in Story County, where I live, up near Virginia City, with more votes than anybody had ever won any office ever.
Right.
And we believe and we know that it was on the strength of the wild horses. These politicians need to get on board with the people.
Right.
Get on this horse with us and ride. I think, what do you think, gang? What do you think?
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's a great idea, Mustang Meg. What about you? I think if we posted something like that, we began a petition that people could sign on your Facebook page on Mustang Matters. You heard Cindy mention that. We have also a Wainema Ranch Facebook page. I know that Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund would like to get on board as well as the protection group with Ann Novak, okay? Because I just got through doing a voiceover for a television show that she is doing to save our Mustangs. And I'm telling you what, if everybody got together, it's gonna make my job a lot easier going back to Washington, D.C. to talk to these perfume parlor snakes.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy that you're going back, and I've heard now, I'm a complete techno peasant, as most of you know. I have a Facebook, it has 5,000 people on it, I have no idea what to do. Honestly, I can barely do email, Debbie McCarthy.
I know, I totally get you.
Just sad, I'm just old. What can we do something like a We the People? I think if they get certain, a number of petitions signed, 3,000 or something, they've
It has to
got-
be addressed.
It's got
Yeah.
to be addressed. What if we all got together and you guys that are good at this Facebook crap, I'm like
Well, no,
a
don't-
dinosaur here.
Don't speak for everybody here. You said Facebook crap. Remember, to Joanne Spotted Bear, it's pale Facebook. Okay, there's a big difference here.
I mean, all English.
But Meg, I think it's an excellent idea if we all pool sources. And we don't want to keep you any longer because I know how busy you are, but I do want to thank you for being a part of Mustang Matters, the talk show heard nationwide, coast to coast, border to border, and what do you say, Joanne?
Res to res.
That's right. Reservation to reservation, because Joanne Spotted Bear is also getting the listing, the help of all the reservations nationwide too. So, Meg, I think if we all get together, this is going to work out fine for everyone.
I do too, and I've got some things up my sleeve as far as getting more Mustang protection, and we'll get there. We'll get her done. Just one day at a time, hit more people, and start spreading the word. And like I've said before, somebody in Washington's going to have to raise an eyebrow because they're going to have to notice what we're doing. So I like your idea about the petition regarding what President Obama had promised. I think that's the big key issue here, and something that we can definitely share with the rest. My page, by the way, Mustang Meg, I've put it together with my domain, so if somebody needs to get to it in their browser, they can just put mustangmeg.com, and that goes directly to the Facebook page. You don't have to write Facebook and then / whatever. So just mustangmeg.com, and they'll get there to my page, and we'll share that petition there.
You know what, too, Meg? I'll tell you, there are 7 advocacy groups so far that have asked me simply to go back and carry that message for them individually. I'd like to add you to that. Anything I can do to carry a message back from Mustang Meg, I'm happy to do that.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that, too. Thank
All right.
you very much.
And thank you, Meg, for calling in. You are now part of Mustang Matters. Anytime we can help you in any way, shape, or form, please know that we're here every Wednesday at 11 a.m. I look forward to it.
Right on. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that. Now, Lacey, I'll tell you what, now, without further ado, someone that I think is just absolutely big in everything except stature, that because she's like you, a little beautiful little girl.
I was gonna say, I haven't noticed anything like that.
I know, you and her saw eye to eye. I love that. I love that. But how about you do the introduction?
Well, Terry Farley and I see eye to eye on a great many things. Terry has always loved horses. She left Los Angeles for the cowgirl state of Nevada after earning degrees, I am so impressed, in English and journalism. Now she rides the range, researching books and magazines and articles on the West people and animals, especially Nevada's controversial wild horses. She lives in a 100-year-old house with her husband Corey and children, and I don't know how many dogs, cats, and other nutria and other thing that live at your house. Terry, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in today. We are so pleased to have you, and hope that we can have you like every time you get in here on a Wednesday.
Well, now that I'm here, you're not going to get rid of me.
Great,
Yay!
great, yay! And tell us, you have news, you have wonderful news. Terry writes the Phantom Stallion books, and it's describe these books for the folks so that they'll know.
Okay, well, I'm very fortunate to, am I too far from the
Yeah,
mic?
you're
Okay.
fine. Just scoot up to the
Okay.
microphone.
Am I good?
Kiss that thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
There you go.
Like a horse's nose.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right, that's right.
I have been writing the Phantom Stallion series for HarperCollins for about 8 years. I'm not good with numbers. And one of the dads that was waiting in line to have his daughter's book autographed at a book signing said they're like Nancy Drew with wild horses. So I thought that was a pretty good description, but there are 24 books in the Phantom Stallion series. They take place in Nevada, in an imaginary town in Nevada, but it's really a lot like, it's out on the Black Rock. So, and there are 24 books in the series, and they're in 27 countries, and they've sold over
Wow.
2 million copies. So we kind of have, I think that's a pretty good sign that people care about our wild horses. In fact, you were talking about Conrad Burns. I heard,
You mean Razor Park.
yeah, I do like that a lot.
In my opinion.
Right.
That is his
Yeah.
Indian name.
I heard about that first from one of my readers. The internet has absolutely revolutionized the wild horse movement, as far as I believe, because we hear from people. I heard from one of my readers, and she said, I just heard something happen in Congress that they're saying it's okay to slaughter wild horses, and I wrote back and said, I think that's probably an internet rumor, but let me check that out. 2 seconds later, she sent me a link, and I found out that she was dead on. That was before I even saw it on television or heard it on the news. So these kids are dialed in, and I know that I hear from not just kids, but I hear from adults all over the world who care very much about our horses and cannot believe. I mean, they have a very romantic picture of our West, and they can't believe that we are destroying our legacy, what makes us great in the eyes of much of the world. And so, my good news, okay, I'm not going to be able to talk until I get past this.
We're so happy to hear it.
Well, I've done 24 Phantom Stallion books and 11 Wild Horse Island books that take place in Hawaii, a fictional Hawaiian island. But I just agreed this morning to do a nonfiction book, and I'm working with a National Geographic photographer to do a book called Wild at Heart, Mustangs and the young people who are fighting to keep them free.
Wow.
And so it's a nonfiction book, and it's going to be beautiful because Melissa Farlow of National Geographic and Smithsonian is doing the photographs. And the only problem with this is that the editor who bought the book is at Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. All of these mergers, they get long names, but she is the editor who bought the very first Phantom Stallion book. She is the person who is my wild horse angel, who bought that, decided that was a series, not one book. And she cares very much about the wild horses. And she said, every day that book is delayed, we're gonna lose more horses. And I agreed with her, of course.
Wow.
My deadline is the end of January, this January.
Angels all around you.
Yes,
And you
thank
know
you.
what? You know what I've learned? This is probably, I don't even know if this is appropriate. But if I actually get an overwhelm, or I have a deadline like that I just don't know how I'm going to do, if I remember to call in the troops that are non-physical, some people call them angels, some people call them God, but I do think they exist. If I remember to do that, stuff happens, not just in my head, out in the world, and it just makes a difference. I hope that you will have, I know you'll have angels all around you, because these horses have angels all around them. People do not want horse slaughter in this country. It is a very tiny number of people who want to kill our horses. It's led by, and it's just about money, and I don't even really, when I think about it, it's such a, in my opinion, such a very, very dirty industry. There's so much waste, and it's just not a good thing.
Wanted
Joanne
to-
Spotted Bear wants to speak.
Thank you, Lacey. I wanted to share with you that Sue Wallace, the National Congress for Wyoming, right?
Well, she's up in the House of Representatives in Wyoming.
Yes, and Nancy Perry sent me the information where she wrote a resolution, did not sign it. And Nancy Perry is a lawyer in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I worked with Nancy.
And she's the one who actually sent me the documents to, that Sue Wallace wrote that resolution, gave it to National Congress for American Indians, and then it went to Congress, and then it fell like dominoes. And I promised Eddie I'd send it to you, and I'm sorry I didn't send it to you. I have no good excuse why I didn't.
I'm not gonna say anything
But
bad
the-
about you.
But the fact is that what Sue did was she actually put this resolution in front of the National Congress for American Indians. The National Congress for American Indians, a small quorum apparently, voted on it and is actually now petitioning the government to have slaughterhouses on Indian reservations, which is the absolute single worst idea I have ever heard in my life. These Indian people are so poor, and they are looking for industry on their reservations. And they are tempted, of course they're tempted. The poverty on Pine Ridge is unbelievable. I heard also a statistic that I am still trying to figure out. It told me that 57% of the kids there at least attempt suicide.
You're absolutely correct.
57%, and it's the poorest reservation in the country. To offer this to these people whose culture we have destroyed in the first place, I think is absolutely uncomfortable.
One of the girls that's going to be in the book for sure, if I have to walk to Alpine, Texas, is Shy Rondow, and her dad is Ron Rondow, and he is a Crow Indian stunt rider. And he and his daughter Shy is, she believes that her Crow heritage tells her to respect the four-footeds and to stand up for them in every way that she can. And by putting her in the book, well, and they also do a lot of work on that ranch with Native kids who are at risk. And that is something that I would love. Red Horse Nation, are you familiar with that group?
It's Red Nation, and that's
Red
all the Indians that have ever died across the land. That's why we call ourselves the Red Nation.
Yeah, and there's a website that has a red hand, and it says Red Horse Nation, and they have been working really hard with Native kids across the country to teach them some of the skills of their ancestors. And so that's definitely going to be one aspect of the book.
I think that's so important, because is it not true, Joanne, that an overwhelming majority of the traditional Indian people are against horse slaughter?
A lot, basically 100% of the traditional people do not like horse slaughter because we use the horses in sun dances and in traditional events such as powwows or veterans affairs, you know, different things like that. So
Right.
yes.
Basically, what I think was, once again, it's my opinion only, that the American Indians were hoodwinked by the federal government, okay, really. And I've really chewed Joanne out many times and said if there's one thing you did wrong was not tighten the borders better when we came over. You know, that's my opinion, you know?
No, we messed up when we let the government in. You guys are doing good.
All right, thank you for that. Joanne Spotted Bear, thank you. You know, and you're right, like Lacey said, 80% of the American people, since this is Mustang Matters, 80% of the American people absolutely want nothing to do with horse slaughter and want to protect our American heritage, the wild horses and burros. You know, Terry, I'm really excited. I want to invite you and your husband, Corey, to come out to the Wynema Ranch whenever you have that opportunity, and maybe meet Lacey and Joanne and Cindy out there sometime and look around, because there are 100+ wild Mustangs out there right now, thanks to the great job done by Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund, utilizing the Wynema Ranch Wild Horse Sanctuary. So we invite you to come out.
Well, I've been wanting to come out, and I've had lots of invitations. I got my left knee tweaked between two very enthusiastic dogs, and I've been doing physical therapy, and I didn't want to come out if I couldn't wield a pitchfork. But one of your trainers just offered me a tour so I'd know what to do when I could hit the ground running when I could work.
Well, you know what? That one trainer has every one of our hearts near and dear to us, and that's Kat Ennis. She's in the audience right now, and the horse trainer at the Wynema Ranch is sitting in the audience. Listeners, you still have time to come and join us. I just looked out in the audience. We also have director-producer John Pacino sitting out in the audience as well. So a lot of people care. You know,
Yeah.
Terry, it's amazing. I'm just so excited about your books. You know, once we get up and running with gift shops to perpetuate the income, to make sure the horses are taken care of, it'll be books like yours that will be on sale for the tourist coming in that'll want to pick that up, because I don't think there's a child out there that should not pick up that series, Lacey.
You know, we had such a good run with it. When we had the Wild Horse Museum up in Virginia City, we carried the Phantom Stallion books, and we went through a lot of them. People
Amen.
really love them. I remember when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, that's all I wanted to read. My friend and I, that's all we read, was horse books. How about you, Cindy? Are you like that?
I was just, you read my mind. I was just thinking, my sister was so hooked on all the Nancy Drew books, and I was like, blah, 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 blah. Where were you when I was a kid? I would have read every single one of them. I actually might still read every single one of them.
I have a lot of adult readers who feel the same way. In fact, I'm now hearing from kids who grew up with my books and adults who want me to write a grown-up cowgirl book. So that may be on the horizon. We'll see.
Nice.
You better believe it. We're all excited about that. Plus, we're excited also about the book in conjunction with National Geographic. Are you kidding? We're going to have to call you the Louis L'Amour of wild horses.
I wouldn't turn that down.
I wouldn't turn that down either. What a
That's a good one, Eddie.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know, when you think about what she's done and what she's continuing to do, Terry, it's our compliments to you, and what a really kudos. Great job. Look forward to working with you in the future. And like Lacey J. Dalton said, you are now a member of Mustang Matters.
All
We want
right.
you to show up here each and every time. The shows are going to balance out. This week, it's brought to you by the Let 'em Run Foundation in conjunction with America Matters Media, and today, the Wild Horse Sanctuary at Wynema Ranch. So, Lacey, as we close out, tell them how to get a hold of the Let 'em Run Foundation.
Hi, you can reach us at Let 'em Run, that's LETEMRUN.com, or you can call me at 775-847-7322. That's my home number. I'll talk to you. And right now, I just want to say we're looking for some donations of a rather small amount. We've got some horses we want to move down to California. A big contest to train, so we have to run.
Beautiful. Those of you listening on Fox News affiliate 99.1 FM Talk, that concludes our show for this week. Join us next week, 11 a.m. here in the Reno Town Mall. We'll see you next week.